Have you ever questioned whether the path you're on is really leading you towards your dream life? And even if it is it the most effective way, or are there other paths you should consider? This is where the bottleneck approach comes in. It's going to help you continuously identify the most direct path to achieving your dreams. And it's going to cut through all the noise and distractions that may lead you astray. You're going to find insights from start to finish in this video that could provide you with the piece you've been missing. So make sure to watch all the way through. Let's get into it. Before applying the bottleneck approach, we need to identify two things: your current situation and your desired situation, where your desired situation is your dream life. To do this, you need to divide your life into different main areas. It differs from person to person depending on their values and priorities, but let's say we have the areas work, relationship, and health. And you can divide it even further into finance and impact for work, romantic, family and friends for relationships, physical health and mental health for health. Next up is scoring yourself. At your current situation, how would you score yourself in each of these areas from 1 to 10? Let's say you have 5 out of 10 for finance, 6 out of 10 for impact, 5 out of 10 for romantic, 6 out of 10 for family and friends, 7 on physical, and 7 out of 10 on mental health. After scoring your current situation, you need to do the exact same for your desired situation. To score your desired situation, you can think of it through this question: what points would you need to have in these areas to achieve and live your dream life? Let's say we have 8 out of 10 for finance, 8 out of 10 for impact, 9 out of 10 for romantic, 9 out of 10 for family and friends, 10 out of 10 for physical health, and 8 out of 10 for mental health. Now we can finally move on to the bottleneck approach. To understand the bottleneck approach, you can first imagine a tube, bottle, or something where water can flow through. And imagine that the amount of water that is able to flow through this point is the same as the amount of progress you're able to make in life. Now imagine there's an object at this point preventing water from flowing through. This object represents the bottleneck, and unless you remove this bottleneck, the water will never be able to flow through. In other words, unless you remove this bottleneck, you're never going to be able to make progress in life. To make this more concrete, let's look back at our main areas again. We see that for all our main areas, we are lacking in points. In other words, they are all constraining us from our dream life. But at any moment in time, there's only going to be one bottleneck. Let's say that finance is the bottleneck. If finance is the bottleneck, that means that all the other main areas are not the bottleneck. Now that sounds very obvious, but it still needs to be said, because it seems like a lot of people don't understand the implication of this. And the implication is that when finance is the bottleneck, it doesn't matter that you're leveling up your physical health, romantic relationships, or mental health, because they are not the bottleneck. No matter how much effort you put into all the other areas, you're not going to effectively level up your life. Finance is still the bottleneck. It's going to keep preventing water from flowing through and you from progressing in life until you've solved it. When you're able to solve the bottleneck, water is finally going to come rushing through, and this is the equivalent of you experience massive progress in your life. Enjoy this progress, but remember what I've said earlier. Any moment in time, there's always going to be a bottleneck. So after solving finance as the bottleneck, a new one is going to appear. It could be your family and friends, it could be your mental health. This is something you need to identify and figure out for yourself. A tip I want to give for the process of solving a bottleneck is that after identifying the bottleneck, you can start identifying the bottleneck for the bottleneck. So if finance was the bottleneck, you can start to find the bottleneck for finance. And you can drill it down like this, all the way until you have an actionable step you can take right now. When you identify a bottleneck and start drilling down to a more specific thing, it's not always as simple as a skill you're lacking or information you're missing. It might very well be a complex mindset issue, like not believing you're enough, or fear of judgment from other people. It could even be a past traumatic experience that you need to heal from, as it is affecting your current thoughts and actions. That is all for this video. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to hit the subscribe button or check out the next video that is linked here. And if you want to get even more self-improvement insights, my free to-do list template, or you just want to get to know me better, join my free newsletter that is linked below.